Something is already happening to you right now that you cannot see. While you're watching this video, a decision is already being made about your future spouse. Not by you, not by them, by something happening in a realm you were never trained to notice. Somebody is being positioned right now. Somewhere a door is closing on purpose and you don't even know it's connected to you yet. Because here's what nobody told you. God doesn't just send your soulmate, He disguises them. He hides them behind delays, behind disconnection, behind seasons so painful you'll almost miss what's happening inside them. And if you don't understand how this actually works, you will misread every single sign He's already sending you. Stay until way number 3, because that's the one most Christians never get warned about, and some of you are living inside it right now without knowing it. Before we go further, type "I'm watching" in the comments right now so I know you're serious about hearing this.
Most people think finding the one is about searching harder, praying louder, meeting more people. But what if the reason you haven't met them yet has nothing to do with your effort? What if it has everything to do with a war happening over your future that you were never told about? Because the enemy knows something you don't. He knows that the wrong connection at the right time can destroy the right connection before it ever arrives. So he doesn't always attack your relationship with fire. Sometimes he attacks it with silence, with distraction, with counterfeit peace. And while that war is happening, God is doing something else entirely, something quiet, something most people never notice until years later when they finally look back and whisper, "Now I understand." So let's expose it. Let's pull back the curtain on how this actually works.
The first way God introduces you to your soulmate is through an interruption you did not ask for. A canceled plan, a random reroute, a conversation you almost walked away from. You weren't looking for them. The timing made no sense, and yet somehow they stayed in your mind longer than they should have. Why does that happen? Because divine connection rarely announces itself. It doesn't come wrapped in fireworks. It comes disguised as inconvenience. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 11 says, "He has made everything beautiful in its time." And notice, it says His time, not the time you planned, not the moment you were ready. So if a certain interruption keeps replaying in your mind, if a certain name keeps resurfacing when you least expect it, ask yourself this: what if that wasn't random at all? What if that was the one moment the enemy tried to make you ignore and you almost did? If something just interrupted your plans this month and you can't explain why it's still on your mind, comment "interruption" below. Before God brings the right person, He starts removing the wrong ones. And this is the part most Christians completely misunderstand. They cry over the ending. They chase what already left. They call it loss when it was actually protection. Because some of those people were never meant to reach your future. Some of them were assignments sent to delay you, distract you, or drain you before the real one ever arrived. Isaiah 55:8 says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord." So when a connection collapses for no reason you can explain, when someone disappears from your life without warning, ask yourself something most people are too afraid to ask. What if God saw something coming that you didn't? And here's the part that should unsettle you a little. Sometimes the enemy fights hardest to keep a wrong connection alive because he knows the moment it ends, the real one is finally free to arrive. If a relationship ended suddenly and you never understood why, comment "protected" so I know this is landing.
This is the one most churches never talk about. Sometimes, before your soulmate arrives, God allows a season of isolation so heavy it feels like abandonment. No new connections, no open doors, just silence. And in that silence, something dangerous starts to happen if you're not careful. You start believing the silence means you were forgotten. But what if the silence was never punishment? What if it was preparation, happening in a place too deep for people to see? Because a soulmate is not just a person, it's an assignment.
and assignments require alignment first. Romans 12:2 says, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." While you were sitting in what felt like a dry, forgotten season, wondering if you'd been passed over, something was being renewed inside you that you couldn't feel yet. And here's what should make you sit up right now. That same isolation season is often when counterfeit connections show up the strongest, because the enemy knows loneliness makes people settle. So if you're in that season right now, if it's been quieter than you expected, don't you dare mistake this silence for rejection. If you're in a quiet season right now and it's been heavier than usual, comment "still waiting." I want you to know you're not forgotten.
This is the final sign, and it's the one that decides whether you'll actually recognize them when they arrive. Before God brings your soulmate, He starts sharpening your discernment, because a counterfeit can look almost identical to the real thing if your spirit isn't awake. You start noticing things you used to ignore, a certain peace or the absence of it, a certain conviction in your prayers that wasn't there before. Why is that happening? Because God is not just preparing someone for you, He's training you to recognize the difference between what feels good and what is actually good for you. And that's exactly why some connections that once excited you suddenly feel unsettling now. Your spirit is being upgraded whether you asked for it or not. So, if your standards have been shifting lately, if certain people who used to hold your attention suddenly feel off, that is not you changing your mind. That might be heaven changing your eyes. Here's what I need you to understand before this video ends. Not everyone who feels like a soulmate is one. The enemy studies your prayers. He knows what you've been asking God for, and sometimes he sends a counterfeit dressed exactly like the answer. That's why discernment matters more than desperation. If a connection is pulling you away from prayer instead of into it, if it's making you comfortable with compromise, that's not alignment, that's a trap wearing the right disguise. Test every connection in prayer before you test it in your heart. But if what you just heard describes your life right now, the interruption, the sudden ending, the silent season, the shifting discernment, don't panic. That's not God ignoring you. That's God building something too important to rush. Maybe the person you've been praying for is already closer than you think, already being prepared in the same silence you're sitting in. Don't chase what God hasn't confirmed, and don't you dare ignore what He's already changing in you right now. If you believe God is preparing someone for you right now, type God's timing in the comments before you go. And if this spoke to something you've been quietly carrying, don't scroll past it. Send it to someone who needs to hear this tonight. Subscribe, because next time I'm exposing the counterfeit connection the enemy sends right before your real breakthrough, and you do not want to miss that one. Lord, open my eyes to what you're doing behind the scenes. Protect me from every counterfeit. Prepare me fully. In Jesus' name.